This particular session is on how to make your resume, and sometimes we also look at that drafting your profile. So as a very important point of your career, while designing your resume, or you call it CV, or you call it biodata, it becomes very important to understand the basics of your making profile. And after this profile understanding, I am always referring it as a profile. So after understanding this profile making workshop, you will be able to understand at least what makes a difference between biodata, resume, or curriculum vitae. This lecture is mainly based on to make you learn about the fundamental concept of this resume. And after this session, you will have another session which will be hand-on practice. You all are required to make your resume or your curriculum vitae or your biodata. This will be clear after this session, that what exactly you need to prepare. And then after this session, hand-on workshop would be conducted by your departmental teachers. So let us start and get basics of your resume, or you call it as a curriculum vitae. When we talk about this resume, we have some understanding or some concept of resume in our mind, whereas when we talk about curriculum vitae, it is, or CV, it does have something which can refer with its name. If both are same, then why there is there are two names? And if not, then what makes a difference? So directly switching over to this, look at this. When we make profile, we have these biodata, curriculum vitae, and resume as three main documents, which includes the details about yourself, but in different structure, different perspective, different for different jobs or for different activities. We look at we have biodata and we have curriculum vitae and resume. What makes a difference? A common sense understanding says that biodata simply means biographical information which details about the what is your biographical affiliation. So biographical affiliation may be like name is very common, father's name, you write gender, you write religion, you write affiliation, you write date of birth, you write. Now important thing comes that whether you should write all these information every time. One question is very clear, that date of birth, which is considered to be a very crucial and open domain information in Asian countries, that date of birth is not considered as open domain information in European or American countries, because it does have some security issues. It does have linkage between your some financial security portals, maybe online bank accounts, or maybe your login account, or maybe your any other account related to your business. In that case, if your date of birth is visible on a simple page every time, and you consider that this date of birth is written on CV also, resume also, biodata also. So what I understand, that biodata is basically a brief of your personal information, your biographical information and which gives every structured or unstructured information about a person. Whereas curriculum vitae is something which refers in its name, curriculum, so curricular. So it simply focus on your curricular activities. It is not only curricular activities, it is curricular activities, co-curricular activities, extracurricular activities. And I believe that I have already made it clear to MBA students that what means curricular, co-curricular and extracurricular. So you can understand that you make CV when you have to write main information as a curriculum, as a curricular activities. That means maybe sometime what is your degree, what is your experience, and what are curricular, co-curricular and extracurricular activities. These curricular activities are usually in institution or educational universities, and you need to detail it. Then resume is something where the main focus is not on curricular activities or biographical data. Rather, resume focus on skills and experiences. Now you can understand that in layman, biodata simply means when someone wants to know about what is your height, what is your color, what is your gender, what is your date of birth, what are your affiliations. So main focus is here. So this is our traditional or outdated mode of giving information to someone or to some company, and this has almost now outdated system. Curriculum vitae is basically for those who have to focus on their curriculum activities. Now, one point is very clear. Who focus on curricular activities? Take a very simple example. If you have more than curricular activities to show in your profile, more means more weightage or more important or crucial informations. So in that case, you will not write curricular activities in focus. You will go for skills or experience, which is more important than curricular. So this can make you understand that biodata is simply an old term used for CV or resume. So you can say that the first information or first document that people used to for their applications and applying companies or any job. When you use these things, biodata can be used when there are personal particulars more important than your curriculum. Say for example, if you are going for any marriage proposal, so your biodata is more important because they want to know your date of birth, they want to know your religion, they want to know your nationality, they want to know your residence, they want to know more and more personal attributes. So you can have it, and usually the main focus means on biodata, on front page, in bullet points, in bold letters, you write your personal details. Usually non-technical jobs requires the biodata. You will see that for class 4, class 3 jobs, non-technical jobs. Non-technical I am mentioning here because you don't have any major focus on skills, and if you don't have major focus on skills, then obviously you will simply write your personal information and details, because it details your personal information, and usually you write biodata for those jobs where attributes are required. Say for example, do you know how to cycle? Do you have this geographical understanding of Kanpur or local roads and locations? Do you have idea about the religious locations or areas? If someone says that go to Western Road, or you have to go in some different area, so you must be aware about it. So you know that when you are recruiting any particular person and you need to know more personal than professional activities, then biodata is usually written down. So it is nothing more than biographical profile. Now what is curriculum vitae? We talked about that. It means that when you focus on curricular activities, it simply details on course of studies, that means degree, diploma or certificates which you have achieved. Along with that degree, diploma or certificate courses, whichever co-curricular activities. Say for example, while studying your engine technology in mechanical engineering, whether you have experience on working on engine in lab or not. So if you have worked on engine or in your lab, if you have done some experiment, so you have experience, you have curricular activities to write. Say for example, you study marketing management, but during your 2-year course, if you have field practice of marketing, that may be augmented in your core marketing subject, and that becomes curricular activity. If it is co-curricular activity or if it is extracurricular activity, obviously you need to understand that these activities gives you main focus in your curriculum vitae, in your profile. Curriculum vitae generally lists your skills. We talk about skills means through your theory classes, you try to learn about the theory knowledge, but you get skills when you practice either in lab or in industry or during your internship or your industry visit or your hand-on practice. So you develop skills. Say for example, I am giving lecture on this curriculum vitae or resume or profile, but in second half, you will come to know, you will develop your skill of writing resume one-to-one. So whether you will write resume or you will write CV, that becomes your understanding. CV generally includes your skills that you have acquired over the period. That includes jobs that you have done after degrees and professional affiliations which you may have with the professional bodies. Say for example, after this qualifying MBA program in HR, if you become member of professional body of NIPM or NHRD or TND society, so these are professional bodies. So you can get affiliation so that in those organizations, the day-to-day activities which are being organized, you get acquainted with that. You can write those affiliations in your curriculum vitae, and that becomes some important point of selection also, and sometimes it may be point of rejection also. So it depends that which affiliation, which body you are affiliated with. Usually CV includes this thing is very important. Usually CV includes all these in a chronological order. Now this chronological order may be reverse order or maybe simple increasing order. But nowadays the professional system in multinational companies says that you must write this all these information in reverse chronological order or the recent one as first. So you can understand what makes a curriculum vitae, what makes a difference between curriculum vitae and biodata. In biodata, mainly you focus on biological things, but in curriculum vitae, mainly you focus on curricular, co-curricular, extracurricular, and then your affiliation and jobs related to curricular, co-curricular activities. When you use curriculum vitae, it is simply preferred option for fresh graduates and those applying for academic positions. Now, when we say that fresh graduates, it is only because that fresh graduates may not have so many experiences to mention in their curriculum vitae, in their profile. They are mainly having curricular activities, co-curricular activities and extracurricular activities to focus on. So whenever a simple fresh graduate apply for some job, it becomes very simple, very crucial to look for only CV preparation, because you have curricular, co-curricular activities to mention. And look, if you do not have curricular, co-curricular, extracurricular activities involvement during your degree program, that will be a negative point in your profile. Usually it happens that if you have gone through a particular program of 3 years or 4 years or 2 years, you must apply, you must write, you must participate in certain activities which are of your area. If you are specialized in HR, so you must have your curricular, co-curricular activities in HR. Usually in MBA program, it happens that the departments are making cells, HR club or HR cell or marketing club, like that. So these club or cells, they have their own curricular or co-curricular activities throughout their year or 2 years, in their 2 years program. And students are supposed to write all those activities into their curriculum vitae. So mainly when you are applying for any job, so if you write your title or profile as biodata, it is a negative point. It should not be written as biodata. It has to be written as curriculum vitae. And why it? Because it displays general talent rather than specific skill for a specific job. Look at, during that period of your degree, just after that, you may have some specialization, but that specialization is of general area. If you are specialized in marketing, so marketing can be considered as general skilled talent, general knowledge. Whereas specialized knowledge may be after that you come to know that you have a consumer or customer care specialist. So you are not specific, you are not writing specific skills as a fresh graduate. You are trying to focus on your theory knowledge, then your affiliated knowledge. Affiliated knowledge means activities which you have gone through, maybe laboratory experiment or maybe any other. Whereas resume is entirely different. What you write in resume is something which details the employment, education and skills. Look at this, become very important and very crucial point, that it does not have any biographical data. Sometimes I have seen that people put their photograph on resume. In modern, or you can say multinationals, putting a photograph on resume is considered as negative, because resume simply focus on your employment history, your education in area, and skills which you have developed across the employments, different employments, or in your previous jobs. A good resume starts with a brief summary of qualifications. Look at, try to highlight this brief summary. It is not detailed summary. In Biodata, it is, in curriculum vitae, you have qualification elaborated in detail. In Biodata, it may be detailed table that you qualified high school, you qualified intermediate, you qualified graduation, then master's degree with this percentage from this school, from this board, with this remark. So this much requirement is not there. In resume, simply write MBA specialized in this, year this, that's all. In curriculum vitae, you have to elaborate little bit. Always keep it in mind that ideal resume should be of 1 page only, maximum 2 page in extreme cases. Whereas curriculum vitae is usually 2 to 3 pages. Usually, because not only you are giving qualification or your experience or skills, but you are also giving the curricular and co-curricular activities you have gone through. So that is additional one. So this becomes very important to understand that in your resume, you must write brief summary of qualification, followed by the areas of strength or industry expertise. And this is again, don't forget to understand this keywords. It is not that you write that you worked in Tata Motors and then you start briefing that as a manager you did this thing, you did this thing. It is not that kind of thing. Keywords. You worked in Tata Motors as a plant head, that's it, from this to this year, followed by professional experience in reverse chronological order. Now this thing is very important, reverse chronological order. In CV we discussed that you may have normal chronological order and you can have reverse. Reverse means the latest one as the first. But in resume, it is important. The structure is very clear and understandable in your global market. They consider that yes, the first information that should be given to HR manager of a company related to your previous job, just previous job. If you are applying in one company, so you write that I am working in HBTI. And you give detail of SBTI. It does not mean that you give detail of SBTI at the last. That means to get the latest, the last position, the HR manager has to gone through with your all 20 years profile, and then at last he will get that yes, you are doing something in SBTI. In resume, you are, I consider is, if you consider in layman, I consider it resume. So resuming job means you give first information as the last one and then you join next one. So try to connect the previous job to the upcoming job. So you want to resume your skill, your experience, your job, your position, your work. So this become an important point in making a resume in reverse chronological order. At the same time, when you need this resume writing, it is very clear that the resume is significant for new positions, and specialized positions. Look at that in previous slide, we had this general talent or general specialization rather than specific. So you can understand you are going to general physician or you are going to expert, ENT expert, heart specialist or a specialist like that. So resume means specialist, whereas curriculum vitae means generalist. So generalist and specialist, this thing is this makes very clear cut difference. So when you are specialized in some specialized skill, exclusive, extreme, or you can say that in case of exclusive area, you need to write resume where you have to focus. Say for example, you are brand expert, brand positioning expert. So when you are brand positioning expert, it simply means you have a specialized knowledge. Now you need to apply for company or job which requires a brand expert. So you write resume, no issue. But if you are simply applying for marketing manager or marketing executive, write curriculum vitae. Why do you write resume? And that is why I say that you have a specialized skills means you are experienced one. So if you are experienced one, it simply means resume is required for middle level or senior positions, not for lower positions. So as this concept works, you must understand that how to go for resume writing. We will discuss in further detail about this, but this becomes very crucial to make a difference at this stage because you are in graduation, maybe MBA, maybe BTech. You must understand what makes a difference in curriculum vitae and resume. Because if you are writing resume, it indicates something. If you have any specialized skill, if you have experience, write resume. But as a fresh graduate, what you will write in your resume, that becomes crucial point. Because you don't have experience, you don't have specific skill or a specialized thing. And that is why I say you must understand this basic fundamental difference. And why to write resume? It's very clear that it does not list out all the education qualifications. That means resume does not require to write that high school, intermediate, graduation, masters, PhD and all these things. It simply requires, if you are applying for marketing manager or marketing brand specialization, brand expert, just write simple qualification MBA in marketing. Nothing else. In case of education, you simply write BTech in electrical engineering. Forget about that intermediate and high school and all those things. Only highlight the specific skills customized to the target job profile. Look at making profile is simply searching for a career objective. Resume generally writes career objective as a top line, and resume is a kind of thing which has to be customized every time. Look at customized. So if you are applying for brand positioning, brand expert, you customize your resume. If you are applying for marketing manager, you change your resume. Your point is that you have to target a particular job. Look at, you need to understand the job description, job details, and according to details, you must understand what skills which you have, which can be fulfilled, which can be required by the company. But you must understand that resume is something different than your curriculum vitae. Writing a resume is different than curriculum vitae. Now, some points which I have tried to figure it out while writing CV. Do's and don'ts. And if possible, you must note it down, or I will share this particular PPT to you also, to all the participants also, and they can keep a record of this. While drafting a CV, you must make your CV concise with no unnecessary information such as gender, age, religion. Look at, when you are writing CV, why should you write gender name, tell me, or why should you write age or religion? The matching is of your skill, your curricular experience, and with the job. HR manager require this thing. HR manager do not have any requirement of gender. If you say male, no issue. If you say female, no issue. If this information is of no use, so why you are writing it? American companies or European countries where there is a strong rule of avoiding gender biasness, they take it negative. If you write that I am a male, then they feel that this is your personality disorder, that you have a you try to you can work in you cannot work in common environment. Or someone write female means you are trying to give impression of that you need feministic culture. No, it is not required. Should not write your gender, age, religion. Outline your career history with most recent first, we have discussed in detail. Your accomplishment, achievements must be in bullet points. It should not be in very detail. That as a marketing manager, we did this thing, we planned this thing, we figure out this thing, we increased this market share, we did this thing. No, not required. The only thing you require is write in bullet points achievements and focus those achievements, accomplishments over the responsibilities. So this becomes very crucial and very important point. So include your IT skills, relevant training, spoken languages with hobbies and interest in brief. Again I say, these things you have to write in brief, not in detail. Keep it in mind. And generally, curriculum vitae says that reference can be provided on request. You should not write your references, 3 references in every CV. In resume, references are important, but in CV, references are not required. You can write in reference column that yes, can be provided on request. But first you check us whether I am probable candidate or not. If I am probable candidate, then I can provide my reference. And this becomes very crucial to understand that what you don't have to do. Look at this thing is, you can very easily understand what you have to do, what you should do, but what you should not do. Point is that you should not use those outdated cliches or statements that I'm strong in marketing. So all these are, try to avoid these cliches, which makes you a good candidate. Sometimes you say I am a good person. Now without credentials, you cannot say this thing. Glitches means those outdated or traditional or those stereotyped statements or words you should avoid. So it is equally important to understand that if you are writing these things, obviously you will have a issue in your curriculum meeting. Try to avoid cramped text in or use of a small font size. It has to be readable. Cramped text means sometimes you forcefully or you intentionally try to highlight some word or something which is not required, unnecessary. You talk about forcefully usual. Everybody comes in class late and says that my bike was punctured, my bike was punctured, my bike was punctured. So while trying to put repetitive things, so that is a negative determinant. Now in CV, this is also very important. Don't make your table, graphs or clip arts in your curriculum vitae. These are not good sign. And making too long and descriptive CV is not considered as a good habit. Another simple thing is that while making CV or resume, do's and don'ts are mostly similar. But I have tried to figure it out some differences. When you are making resume, you have to determine the job search objectives. Try to underline this. Determine the job search objective means why you are in search of a job. What is your objective? Why you want to become a marketing manager? Your objective must be very clear. Job search objective, and tailor your resume for that position, that job. And that is why I mentioned in previous slide that your resume must have a career objective which explicitly spell out your job search objective. Very clear. Start with a short summary of who are you and why you are the right person for the job. When you write resume, this becomes very short summary of you. Maybe in bullet points, maybe in words. And then try to explain why you are right person for the job in a very brief. Try to emphasize and highlight your accomplishment. Now this point is common in CV and resume both. Your accomplishment must be highlighted, achievements, not the responsibilities. Because many times students write in their CV that I have been a class monitor, I have been training placement in charge, or I have been a student secretary. See, these are responsibilities. You try to focus and highlight your accomplishments as a student secretary, as a training and placement in charge of your branch, or as a class monitor, what you have achieved. That has to be highlighted. It should not be that you have experience of these responsibilities during this period. See, outcome of those responsibilities, that has to be highlighted. When you write some statement, it must be action oriented statements. Action oriented. And the very important, create new version of your resume for every new opportunity. That means for every new job you are applying, you must create a new version. Don't make a copy paste. Sometimes it happens that you have already developed on LinkedIn, or you have already in your ready-made in your system, and you simply get it print and apply. So in case of resume, it is not advisable. Don'ts, first two lines we have already explained. Don't use glitches and cram text in your resume. Cut and paste your resume on social platform like LinkedIn or any, or from LinkedIn to your biodata. That is not admissible. Every time you draft your resume, if you are making serious application, and always as mentioned in CV, if you are making your resume of 2 or more than pages, this is very negative point. So you have to be very cautious about these points. And I hope that I have in last 40-45 minutes I have tried to update you on common domain profile making. What is biodata and what is curriculum vitae and what is resume. So hope that you must be enriched with some of the knowledge, and if anything we will I'm always accessible on these details.